I will show you this game. Stiffy, slowly and crappy. Tell me people, now when did you last play such a game? A pathetic game. It is so lame, but who to blame? I will now review it, so please forgive the shit and let me share this awful game with you. Hello guys, jag är Paidiá. Business Aladdin. If I had one wish, I would wish that I could turn back time to the moment where I decided to make a review for this game, and I would kick myself in the butt to stop this shit. Before we start, Aladdin is one of the Game Boy games I played many years after release because I wasn't interested in it back then. And the first time I finished this game was some weeks ago for this review. Enough words, let's start the game and take a closer look. Disney's Aladdin came out in 1995 in Europe, and the people from the US, well, they got the pleasure to play this game 1 year earlier. This means the game was released at least 2 years after the movie, and I was sure it has to be nearly perfect, but actually the game is a very poor port of the Sega Mega Drive version, and the team responsible for the port is named NMS Software. If you don't know them, NMS Software developed the first 2 Star Wars games for the Nintendo Game Boy, and the games were pretty good. Okay, at least one of them was pretty good. So I cannot understand what happened actually with Disney's Aladdin. On the title screen you hear the famous song A Whole New World, and you can choose between starting the game and the options menu where you can turn off the sound and music and choose between 3 difficulty levels. The only difference between these is the amount of damage you take when an enemy hits you. With the background graphic and the music you hear, you would never think that this is a bad game, but the truth will hit you like a surprise when you press the start button. They included cutscenes and tried to follow the story of the movie, and the graphics from these are impressive. I mean, wow, Game Boy, 8-bit, nice sound, Iago and Jafar, please show me more. Oh, Agrabah Market, do you remember the chase through town with the song One Jump Ahead of the Bread Line? Forget it, they didn't include this song there. The first stage of the game and you already realized that something went terribly wrong. The controls are quite good, but it is so frustrating watching Al jump like he's on the moon. For a platformer where jumping is the main action your character does, it should be the best working function. Just played 30 seconds of Aladdin and it has already 2 strikes, and you guessed it, the third one is following immediately when you reach the first enemy. Overall, there are only 9 different enemies excluding the bosses. Now you will think, okay, for a Game Boy game it is not that bad, but 2 of them are no enemies because you can't hit them and they are only in this game to harm you. The enemies which are repeating in nearly every stage are the 3 guards and Iago. One guard is swinging his sword like crazy. The second guard has a stick and does nearly the same but a little slower. And the third guard is my favorite, the knife thrower. It doesn't matter where you are or if you can see him, if you are in his range. He starts to throw unlimited knives in your direction, even he is out of the screen. Sometimes they are so cheap placed. I even turned off my Game Boy and cursed this game when I played it for the first time. There are many ways to fight your way through the stages. You can pass the enemies by running through them, but you will get trouble with this strategy at the highest difficulty. The second option is to fight with your sword, but the problem of this weapon is the range. The third and most common weapon are the apples. Because of the range, it is easy to defeat all of Al's enemies without taking any risk, But the apples have one big issue. They are limited and you have to use them wisely. As I mentioned before, Al's movement is not as good as it should be. It is a little bit stiffy, and if you jump down from a certain height, Al is making a dramatic pose, falls down like Jesus and lands like a boss. And of course, during this theatrical fall, he is not able to move and you are an easy target for the enemies. The game has a total of 9 stages which are following the story of the movie, but for some reason they stopped putting cutscenes in the game after the rug ride. The music is a complete mess. They included the well-known songs from the movie, but I seriously think they decided by DICE where to use which tune because it is placed totally wrong. For example, the second stage. You need to find the first half of the scarab in the desert and you hear A Whole New World. Wait a minute. Okay, this is correct because the desert stage is A Whole New World. The Aladdin movie I know has no scene where Al needs to find the scarab. But okay, my favorite one is the final stage, Jafar's Palace. They put in A Whole New World again, and I personally had problems to get a final stage feeling with this song. During my research for this game, I realized that there is a difference in music between the European and the US version, and unfortunately, only the European version has A Whole New World in the final stage. After the last hit, the game ends immediately with Al and Jasmine flying away on the magic carpet, and that's it. Aladdin for the Game Boy. If you have the chance, play the Mega Drive version of this game, you won't regret it. To be fair, if you play the Game Boy version more often, it gets better because you know where the enemies are placed and how to deal with them. I beat this game around, I think, 10 times in the last 4 weeks, and it started to entertain me. With 30 to 40 minutes it is also not too long because the game has no password or saving feature. The biggest problem I have with this game is that it feels like there's someone saying, guys, people like Aladdin, please take this game, port it somehow to the Game Boy. I don't care if it is good or not, I want to sell it to the people. From now on, I will refuse to announce a game because I want to avoid getting in the same situation again where I announce the game and after 2 weeks I have to ask myself, why? Why this game? If you have any questions or wishes, please leave a comment down below and thank you for watching. Andio, see you next time.